If you're a fan of the NHL, then you know the game has never been better. The skill these players have on the ice now is absolutely absurd, but with all the improvements to our game over the last 30 to 40 years, why hasn't the NHL gained popularity like the NFL or the NBA? Now I can tell you with complete confidence, the NHL does a horrible job at marketing, and that all trickles back down to this man, Gary Bettman. Gary Bettman is the league's commissioner and has been in that role since it was created back in 1993. That's 4 years of running the league before McJesus was even born. Okay, so what is the role of the NHL commissioner? Well, according to the NHL Constitution, Article 6, Section 6.1, the league shall employ a commissioner selected by the Board of Governors. The commissioner shall serve as chief executive officer of the league. Basically, all that said, he's just the CEO of the league. Some would argue he's been great for the game and great for the league. Others would rather never see him in charge of anything hockey related ever again.
Wait, I have something for you.
Since Gary Bettman took over the league as league commissioner, he's had 3 lockouts: the 94-95 season, the 04-05 season, and the 12-13 season. And the NHL remains the only league in North America to lose an entire season due to a league-wide lockout. He's also had some franchise instability issues with teams like the Quebec Nordiques, the Hartford Whalers, the old Winnipeg Jets, the Atlanta Thrashers, and lately, the old Arizona Phoenix Coyotes. He's had criticism over player safety issues and the league's handling of controversial issues. Bettman's approach has always been and seen as a business-first approach, and in doing so, the NHL's revenue grew from $400 million in 1993 to over $6 billion today. Even with all that money he's produced for the league, he still likes to blackball fans. Despite all his controversies and his approach to managing the league, he has modernized the game to some degree. He's even helped with expansion by putting teams in cities like Nashville, Columbus, back to Minnesota, the first professional franchise in Las Vegas, a team in Seattle, and as of late, a new team in Utah. As of last week, the NHL and the NHL Players Association announced that the salary cap would increase over the next 3 seasons, going from $88 million this year to about $13.5 million in 2028. Those boys about to get paid. And that's all thanks to the work that Gary Bettman has put into the league so far. Before that was announced, we were told by the NHL Board of Governors that they have been preparing for the eventuality of Gary Bettman's retirement in the next few years. Now, if you make it all the way through this video, you're going to hear my theory on the timing of this decision by both Gary Bettman and the Board of Governors. It might be a conspiracy, but I'm pretty confident I might be right in this one. Now, Gary's contributions to the league and the game, for the most part, have been great. But remember when I said the NHL's marketing sucks? Well, Gary Bettman's decisions in that department haven't been great his entire career. The NHL has a major marketing problem. The league constantly makes decisions that hurts its own growth. I have no idea why, but it consistently does this. It continually struggles to promote its superstars. It makes the game super hard to watch at most times. And every single night, we're still trying to figure out what the hell goaltender interference is.
After the coach's challenge, it was determined that there was goaltender interference.
There you go. We're scoreless.
Currently, it's Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews who are the faces of the league. Before them, it was Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. But unless you live in Canada, go ask some random person on the street who those people are. And I can almost guarantee you, you're going to be met with a bunch of blank stares and people thinking hard on who those people are. Connor McDavid is one of the most dominant athletes in the world. He makes world-class hockey players look like straight-up pilots.
Connor McDavid!
Austin Matthews is a guy who grew up in the Arizona desert and became a professional ice hockey player in the best league in the world. And he's a damn good one. But outside of the hardcore hockey fans, these guys aren't even close to being household names. Players like Steph Curry in the NBA and Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. Hell, you can even say Caitlyn Jenner, Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. These guys don't even come close to that kind of popularity. Compare the NHL to the NBA, the NFL, or even the MLB. Those leagues are building up their stars. They embrace their stars' personalities and their stories, and their leagues have benefited greatly because of the way they handle things.
Right there.
We're brothers.
We got to keep it going here.
We know we're starting. We just gotta.
Hockey in the NHL has been and probably always will be a team-first mentality before it ever becomes a celebrity league. I hope to God it never turns into that kind of league. The flip side of this marketing approach is we don't really know much about NHL players outside of the 60 minutes they play and the highlight packages that are available online. And look, I get it. This is a physical 82 plus game season filled with injuries and a heavy travel schedule. The last thing I imagine a professional hockey player wants to do after a long road trip is come home, get on camera, and f around on TikTok or Instagram.
Hi, I'm Jack Hughes, and I brought gummy bears.
What the f is this piece of shit?
But these guys do have some interesting personalities and some crazy lifestyles outside of the rink. I think the handcuffs that the league puts on these guys really needs to come off and let them be who they are without having to worry about the league hovering over their every move and everything they say.
You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away.
Fans want to see how these guys are in real life and how they are away from the rink. Just let them be in charge of their own image and their own brand, and I'm pretty confident the NHL is going to benefit from this immensely. But as I mentioned, I get it. Some, if not a majority of these guys just eat, breathe, and sleep hockey. Not every single one of them has exciting lives or exciting to be around off the ice. Some live very chill, low-key lifestyles. But this is where the NHL really needs to step it up. It has to be up to the NHL to be better at promoting players or even people in the league who bring something more to the table than just highlights.
That's not fucking good enough.
The NHL actually did a really good job in promoting its stars when they partnered up with Amazon for the new NHL Face-Off series, but those were all stories from last year, and we only got like 6 episodes of that. We need to get shows like that rolling all year long, at the very least mid-season with current storylines. Look at how the NFL does Hard Knocks on HBO. There's no reason that the NHL and Amazon can't pull this off in the same fashion. But instead, the NHL leaves it up to the teams to market themselves, and not every team does it the same way. Some don't do it very well at all, and we have to rely on horrible social media posts to see what our team's up to.
I don't know. Shark fan? Snow shark?
Why? We want consistency in this kind of behind the scenes content across the league. The NHL is constantly ignoring its fans, and someone at the top doesn't feel the need for better marketing or for a change. Speaking of social media, who remembers when every NHL YouTuber went at the NHL's neck for almost killing off their channel with absurd amount of copyright claims? It happened to me too. The NHL protects its content like it's a classified secret. The league is so damn money hungry and protective of its product that they hit content creators with copyright claims at every single turn, all the time. We're only allowed to use their content in certain ways, and even that is questionable. I would say like 99% of the time. A lot of content creators out there really do love this game for what it is, and they actually spend a lot of their free time making content in the hopes that it'll provide another avenue for doing something they love, and it'll help grow their channels, and it actually helps grow the game from a fan's perspective. The NHL's social media coverage is so damn amateur and forced, it really becomes unbearable to watch. I would say like 90 to 95% of the time. The NHL really needs to loosen its grip on people using their content and let fans and creators help grow their sport. And hopefully the NHL can find some creators out there that they can work with. Hopefully they can find some that aren't cringy as hell to watch. Have you ever been looking forward to watching one of your team's games only to find out that it's been blacked out, or it's only available on the NHL Network, which is a channel that you don't currently have or subscribe to? Well, guess what? You're not alone, and it happens a lot more than it needs to. Trying to watch your favorite local team has never been harder, and it's been a complete nightmare for the last few seasons. ESPN's coverage of the NHL, if you even want to call it that, has been downright god-awful, and it feels like it couldn't care less about our favorite sport. Bro, look at this desk. ESPN cannot be serious with this. This is the Stanley Cup Finals, and this is what they have to work with. Look at the desk they gave the NBA panel. If the casual and diehard fans can't even find your product, how do you expect them to care to watch? I will say, there is one thing that is a positive in the NHL's new TV deals. The deal what they have with TNT has been working out pretty good so far. I was skeptical at first, but ultimately it's not that bad of an experience.
What's up, you little angry elf? Biz here again with another softball question for.
On top of the NHL's poor decision to partner with ESPN, we have to address the horrible scheduling decisions. Now, I am well aware how the NHL teams have to work with the NHL schedule makers and how it has to align with the schedule of the building they're playing in. But this problem isn't new, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to change. If you want fans to watch your product, stagger these games out a bit. I want to watch all the games I can, but if I have 5, 6, 7, 8 games all starting at once, how the hell do you expect fans to choose one and keep the retention rate up? All the NHL has to do is stagger out these start times. keep fans on their couch for longer periods of time. Being on the couch equals more money in the NHL's pockets from advertisements. This isn't rocket science. I don't know how the NHL hasn't figured this thing out yet. In addition to the start time problem, there's also a bunch of rivalries scattered throughout the league. So why are some of the biggest matchups being buried on a random Tuesday night on ESPN? Why not feature these games in a prime time spot on Saturday night? No one wants to watch the Ducks play the Blackhawks at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. No one. Then there's the Winter Classic, and I don't even want to talk about it again, but I have to address it again. This year's Winter Classic had the lowest ratings ever for an outdoor game for the NHL. It's probably because people are tired of seeing the same teams get this thing over and over again. Or maybe it's because you have a bad team playing a mediocre team. Or maybe it's because you scheduled 11 games the same day. In the meantime, you have leagues like the NBA and the NFL who stagger their biggest matchups to avoid competition with each other or even with themselves. While the NHL is focusing on outdoor games that prioritize fan experience rather than growth, they have an entire fan base that's just chilling in Europe that barely gets any love whatsoever. Meanwhile, the NBA, NFL, and the MLB are actively expanding their brands worldwide and doing it pretty consistently throughout the year. Sure, the NHL does do some preseason games overseas, and they do incorporate a few regular season games during the Global Series, but that's pretty much it. Why not combine these two ideas together? Why not put together an outdoor game in Europe or somewhere else where fans actually want to attend these things? Put together a game with two good teams and show them a really good time with a good experience in an outdoor game. And hey, you might even grow your game and your fan base in a new region. Whatever the NHL decides to do with Europe or anywhere that isn't Canada or the US, we just have to hope that they're selecting teams and players that people actually want to watch. Look, I'm sure international hockey fans are going to be happy with whatever the NHL gives them. Give them something good that's going to help the growth of the game and the league. All right, so what's my theory on all this and the timing of Gary's retirement decision? I have to think that Gary, in a formal and respectable way, has been handed his walking papers from the league.
Get the out!
Look, the league's product is in great shape, and that's thanks to Gary's contributions. But from a fan's perspective, I haven't seen the game's popularity grow pretty much since I've been alive. The league has had some incredible moments, and you would think if this game had been marketed properly over the last 30 to 40 years, the NHL would be closer in popularity among the other three big leagues. Yes, the NHL has had some growth, but it's nowhere close to the NBA or the NFL. Hell, you can even throw the MLS into the conversation. I just have to think with how young NHL players are these days and how we use social media, GMs and owners have probably had this conversation behind closed doors. They've been seeing what we've been seeing, and they've probably discussed everything I have in this video. It's time for the league to move on from Gary Bettman and adapt to new ways of doing things. I think for the most part, he's done a pretty good job, but it's time to face facts. The NHL is struggling amongst other leagues. The league needs a younger face and a younger mind, someone who's relatable to the players and the fans, someone who doesn't get booed at every rink he walks into.
You can do better than that.
Which is why today I'm announcing my bid to be the next NHL commissioner. Obviously, I'm joking, but I would take that job in a heartbeat. I'd take any job with the league in a heartbeat. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments, how you would fix the NHL and their major marketing issues. And like always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and I will catch you homies in the next one. Peace out.